We have known this all along, but now we finally have confirmation that our government was deporting people simply because they disagreed with Trump's policies, even if that policy was yet another get-rich-quick scheme for the Trump mafia. And to Trump and his cronies, if your opinion was slightly inconvenient, they're going to label you as dangerous, they're going to violate your constitutional rights, and yes, even deport you. But fortunately, we can see all of this in black and white because thanks to a recent release of court documents, we see exactly how the spineless little Marco Rubio and his State Department brazenly took action against students that were participating in protests. And these protests, importantly, are very much so protected under the First Amendment. And I'm going to start by saying that this story is going to deal with the situation in Gaza. And I'm going to get my opinion out there right now. It's going to be short and sweet. A theocracy is never tolerant. Doesn't matter which side. Terrorism, it's evil. Genocide, evil. Killing kids is evil. And none of those statements magically erase your First Amendment rights. Now, if you have other thoughts on the matter, go ahead. You can duke it out with me in the comments. But back to what's happening now. In 2025, Marco Rubio publicly claimed that certain students were supporting terror and that the State Department would be deporting these students as quickly as possible. But now we are seeing newly released documents, which we're linking in the description below. The case in American Association of University Professors versus Rubio, the DHS wrote a memo. The DHS wrote a memo saying that they found no grounds that these students provided material support to a foreign terrorist organization, despite what Marco Rubio was saying in front of the cameras. Yet still, Marco Rubio went on social media the next day, the very next day, saying, "We will be revoking the visas and/or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so that they can be deported." And he even posted that with a picture of one of the students, Mahmoud Khalil. Fortunately, through documents and statements like this, we were able to see why the students prevailed in court. However, these documents have been kept sealed. They've been kept secret until media outlets like The Intercept asked the court to release them. And they finally came out this week. And I spent a lot of time pouring through these documents, and you will be fascinated to see them. And you're going to see in there a lot of Department of Homeland Security memos. And I combed through these, and they had the social media posts of the students. You could see where the DHS was investigating op-eds, club memberships, and even pictures of these students at protests. They cite evidence, like one student shouting through a megaphone at Jewish bystanders and Israel supporters. Such a crime, right? But all of the memos came to the same conclusion. There was no evidence that these students did anything worthy of deportation. Going as far as to say about one student, a court may consider his actions inextricably tied to the speech protected under the First Amendment. It is likely that the courts will closely scrutinize the basis for this determination. And yet, the State Department continued on with deportation proceedings, justifying their unconstitutional acts by saying the foreign policy of the United States champions core American interests and U.S. citizens, and condoning anti-Semitic conduct and disruptive protests in the United States would severely undermine that significant foreign policy objective. Let me be clear here. You can hate what someone says. You can disagree. You can consider their protests to be disruptive. But in America, the answer to speech that you don't like is debate. It's argument. It is the open exchange of values, not kicking students that are here legally out of the country and violating their constitutional rights. And yes, before all of the red hats attack me in the comments, every person in the United States has the same rights. Their immigration status does not negate that. Whether they came here legally, whether they're here undocumented, doesn't matter. This isn't new territory. The Supreme Court has been ruling on cases like this back to the late 1800s, and they've consistently said that immigrants have equal protection under the U.S. Constitution. Sure, there are some limits, just like we have some limits on our constitutional rights. But simply disagreeing with the current administration and their policy goals is not grounds to violate someone's rights. And despite the loss, one of many this administration has seen in court. DHS, ICE, and the rest of this Trump crime family continue to label peaceful protesters, citizens and non-citizens alike, as domestic terrorists. You're seeing it. We've seen it last month in Minnesota. Domestic terrorists. Look, it's easy to justify dehumanizing someone and robbing them of their rights, or even worse, their life. If you call them the right combination of words, magically they're the enemy. And then you juxtapose that with Trump's obsession with calling himself the peace president. You know exactly why he's so interested in quieting the dissent surrounding Israel's destruction of Gaza. It's the same thing every time. With Trump, it's money, power, and his old friend, real estate development. The timing was just too perfect. In the same week that these documents were being published publicly, Dementia Don and his necrotic hand were incoherently rambling through the Davos summit. And they were asking for over $1 billion from random countries all over the place, countries on his travel ban list included, to join his board of investors for Gaza, his board of peace for Gaza. Trump's own son-in-law, Jared Kushner, offered a look at these skyscrapers, bragging about a booming GDP and new airports and returns to investors, all in Gaza. And that's not shocking for Trump. It's just daily life with this administration. You violate rights, you ruin the country, but hey, look at this shiny tower over here, and it's going to make us all rich while we ignore the real problems in our country. Thanks for watching that video. Be sure to like and share it all over the place. And then during the week, catch Jared. I'll be back next weekend with more Ring of Fire weekends. Be sure to like and subscribe.